Hello and welcome. This is another iOS changelog for Milo. This changelog is all about the Insights tab. We've redesigned and refactored a lot of the components and really improved on displaying and analyzing your workouts and runs to help you train and perform better. Let's dive in. We have a brand new training load view in our Insights tab. We're making the TSB overlapping with the CTL chart the main view for training load now, since we find it to be the most insightful data to help you really understand whether you're well rested, fatigued, or maybe even at risk of injury. So you have the TSB chart here where you can still scrub through all of the data like you did before to be able to view each single day's individual data. Now you also have a much improved detailed view for your training load. We added a few explanations to better understand what training load means and how you have to read these charts. And then in the detail view, you have the option to view each chart individually, including now also a trim chart to show you the individual combined trim values for each of your activity days. We're also using all of your actual values here. So the TSB, CTL, and ATL, describe them individually, but also generating this insight that has taken all of your data into account to give you a full analysis of your current state. We've also added this component here to display the fixed TSB ranges that we're using from anything below -15 to +15. So it's a little easier for you to read the chart above and identify which range you're currently in. This reference point is using your threshold heart rate that you've set in your biometrics to help you also understand a little bit more about how trim values are calculated and what they really mean. And then as we had before, you have all of the activities from the past 6 weeks that are included in your training load calculations. Now, next up, we have a completely new component that is analyzing and displaying your sleep data. So long you have granted the Milo your sleep HealthKit access. For one, we're looking at the last 6 weeks of your sleep and creating these averages to understand a little bit more about your sleep pattern. But we're also displaying last night's sleep in more detail. And then we also have this chart below, which is showing 2 charts, your sleep duration per night and as well as your average HRV, which helps you understand the trajectory that you're currently on. We find this to be really useful to understand your recovery. In the long run, this data will be really insightful for Milo to be able to build out a component that understands your full holistic training state that includes not only your sleep, but also your training load and other data, and that's coming soon. And now we also have another new component, which is your VO2 max chart. This is also pulled from your HealthKit data, so long you've granted Milo permissions. And we find that to be really useful as it shows you your current trajectory. In this case, you can see that I've been dealing with a couple injuries, which is why my VO2 max has been fluctuating quite a bit. But generally, you want to be on a trajectory like this. And so this is another component that we find to be helping you understand how your training has been going for you. And now, your personal bests. We've completely reimagined this component as well. Under the hood, we're doing a much better job at identifying your best segments and best efforts. So we're really scanning all of your running workouts and finding the best runs for each of these race distances. And now you're also able to tap into each of those individually from here. And you also have a new detail view that shows you top 5 for each distance. And also from here, you can obviously view each race in more detail. If it was recorded with Milo, it will show you all of the Milo data. If it was recorded with another device, it will simply show the data that we have available from HealthKit. Now, in order to get to these segments, we've done a lot of work on deduplicating and really identifying and analyzing your runs. If you find that one of your PRs is not correct or not something that you would expect, we have added this new view, which is the data management view. This is also where you can regenerate your entire HealthKit cache. Just a reminder, we do not sync any of your data with our servers. All of this remains locally on your device. We're building this cache only to be able to run all of these analyses, but also provide the data in a performant manner. Now, if you find one activity is not your PR, maybe because you had a duplicate, maybe because Strava added something and changed the data and added it to HealthKit, you can simply find the activity here in this list. A good example for me is my April marathon where I ran with multiple devices. So I'm just going to find that real quick. And here we go. Okay, so we actually do show you all of the activities that we found for this group that have matched. And then you can simply decide that you want another activity to be the primary activity for this, and it will update all of your data in your Insights component and use that to reflect your PRs. If you want to learn a little bit more about our deduplication, we actually also added this view here, which shows a little bit into how we're thinking, how we're deduplicating, and even the ranking of activities. If you choose so, you can actually change the ranking and the priority. That's entirely up to you. I hope this helps. Thank you very much and enjoy.